Hello, testing, testing. All right, yep, coming through. Sup, gangsters? Let's do this. By gangsters, I mean my two viewers and myself. So today, forecasting. I really thought we were gonna at least bounce this channel a little bit. We absolutely failed. It's funny. I made these like three scenarios, but the only one I did not draw was that one, and that's the one that actually happened there. I was thinking either basically one of these, right? I mean, either we bounce here and then come back down, or we crush it, or we just crush it from here. And the one scenario I didn't really draw was the just absolute crush through. I mean, follow the -2 VWAP all the way down. I mean, it's pretty brutal. I mean, what actually happened here? We got these daily SMAs coded, so got the 5 under the 10, a little bit of support at the 5 and 10, just a small little bounce. I believe this was also, no, it was around there. Yeah, so just the 5 and the 10, really. I think if I go ahead and, where was that? That was all the way up here. Yeah, just before getting into that Fibonacci, and then we actually bounced just a little bit of yesterday's lows, came back down, and now I got this fib here on the 50% retracement. Now here's the thing: is that this buying at the end of the day was actually pretty strong. There's some pretty strong buying at the end of the day. You can see kind of the similar thing on ES, right? It's been under the 5, come down, loses the 10, comes all the way down to the 20. Recaps and forecasts. Probably have another one for ES here. But either way, if I look at the daily chart, right, we got the fib. Failed the fib, comes right back down to this strong trend line, right? So that's kind of makes sense for a little bit of support. I mean, again, this is some pretty strong buying at the end of the day. That's for sure. Just randomly comes through some strong buying. I can go ahead and now throw some anchors here for possible continuations. I think this bounce is pretty strong, so when this comes through, it probably finds a little bit of support for like a scalp or two. When we hit the top here, this probably hits a scalp or two as well. So there is that, but I do think this is a pretty strong selling here. I mean, we could either come back up to sort of back test these averages that got slammed, right? So we get a little bit of a back test off of the 5 and the 10, and then ultimately come back down. I think it kind of makes sense. I mean, this is the kind of weakness building up for sure, which can easily be seen on SPY. Just lower, 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 and then finally the breakdown. So yeah, I mean, I think going into tomorrow, obviously, this buying could get some continuation. We'll see what happens around the 50. I'm sure the 50 will probably get a little bit of short action, unless this gets blown out, right? Just blown out above. Hey, coming back, we get a little bit of a back test. Need some shit like that. Although what I think would be kind of best case is we come back and then fail that, at least get a little bit of whatever here. But yeah, I mean, definitely quite strong selling. But here the thing is that actually my daily SMAs are not totally aligned yet for a sell-off. I like to see the 5 under the 20 for a continued sustained sell. If I switch back over to the 30-minute here on SPY, a nice head and shoulders off the 30-minute. We could have potential for a, whatever happens here, and then ultimately a cup closing. Oh, and then why is this not? Do I have a magnet on? No. Yeah, so then cup closing, hitting around this trend line, and then further weakness, something like that. I think ultimately, like, this was pretty strong selling here, but also pretty strong buying. So I'm not really still, even though this strong selling came through. I'm not gonna let it totally switch my bias yet. But as we know, I mean, as soon as the range is identified, that is when it can fail. Like this was, I think I remember, yeah, on Sunday night into Monday morning, and this failed. Then just read the whole thing, right? And then actually there's this liquidity grab right here, where right in the morning it slammed to the bottom, slammed to the top, slammed back down. And then we came back to the top, back to the bottom, back to the top. You know, once that's too obvious, then it just fails and it gives nobody a chance to do anything. So it's like, if this is going to recover at all, it's going to probably be before too many people notice. So yeah, we're gonna have to see. I've got my anchors on. I'm not totally sold on this giant wash, but I do think it could get some continuation. I do think we're probably gonna at least back test these daily SMAs and stuff. So we're gonna look for that tomorrow. If I go over and take another peek at the hourly chart here, we're now in this kind of like double channel. What's going on? So what we usually, I mean, you can look at this as a, let's get rid of all these arrows. Last time, you could say this was kind of like this trend line was perhaps kind of like here. Right, and then we fell all the way to it, and then I could put the above trend line that we were holding like here. So we fell under it, and then kind of retraced a bit of it, like into the halfway point, and then dug even further. If I go and then throw another trend line, it'd be more like, I mean, honestly, kind of like, I mean, now I'm just kind of drawing shit. Yeah. So maybe something like this, where now we're going to come back up, retrace this trend line, get a little bit of weakness, maybe chop around it. So point is, I expect some retracement here, at least towards the 50, and then some chopping around this line, these trend lines. Like, I'm not totally sold on just, I mean, obviously you can't just be shorting it too crazy and going in for some continuation. So I'm going to be looking for that. But overall, just still scalping out tomorrow, following my system there. And yeah, so I'm going to do some trade reviews in the morning. I see where it's at. Ultimately, I mean, this could fail at some point. I mean, it could fail at any point, right? And we could start just coming back down. I mean, we could, at any point, we could do any of these, right, and just start heading back down. But ultimately, I think when we come in tomorrow, in the next days, we will see like a bit of this going on before perhaps failing this trend line again. So that's like ultimately what I'm thinking here. I'm thinking we're probably still respecting this is daily fib. I think that's pretty clear. So if we come all the way back down to this 161, I'll definitely be looking for some support there. I mean, look at this fib here. We started down here. We finally fell hard, came all the way down here, got near this 161, and then boom, pow, like super strong push out. So that right there is what I'll be looking for if we get all the way down to this 161. Definitely some support there, and I'll be looking for some hesitation off of these trend lines for sure. Let's actually sync that global, sync that global, sync that global. Okay, we're good to go. So we're gonna see. Oh yeah, so this is probably unrealistic then. Really, it'll probably be like chop around here in this pocket. So we're gonna see. I mean, super strong selling, but some pretty strong sudden buying at the end, but not even that crazy considering we fell like what 500 to I mean nearly 500 points. So yeah, we're gonna see. We failed the 10 SMA. Um, on the daily, and then let's make these not so see-through. Yeah, failed the 10, came back down, shorted the 10, 20, little hesitation there, thought about it for a moment, and then boom, get crushed back down. So yeah, now we're back above the 20, maybe back test the 10, something like that, right? So it's all in line with like a bit of recovery and then probably some chopping out, liquidity grabbing, and then probably a bit of further short or something like that. But just ride the trend, see what's happening with the MACD. Speaking of which, where's my Mac dashboard? Yeah, Mac dashboard. Now, what could we have seen on this? Let's go all the way back towards like 9, right? Like 9:30. Yeah, something like that. Oh yeah. I mean, this just looks like blatantly about to wash. Um, I mean, this 4 hour is really opening up big to the downside. The 1 hour was getting bigger to the downside. Um, 30-minute getting big right in the 15, then just kind of like sealed it. Then we come into like 10, that failed. Tried to cross, but ultimately it failed. I mean, if I go back over to the recap, look here, yeah, it thought about crossing and pulled back up, right, and then it just absolutely dumps out, and it's not until we actually get um, a green cycle that we actually continue. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. Looking for a bit of recovery, but ultimately this weakness is pretty substantial, so I don't really think we're going to get back above this trend line for a significant amount of time. And then once we come back down all the way to this, I mean, look at actually if we fib out this move, this 161 is perfectly aligned with the 161 here. So I think that's a coincidence? No. So I think once we hit these dual 161s, that'll be kind of final target, and then we can get a long here. So I think we're going to get some sort of continuation ultimately. Come back down here and test this. As for tomorrow, we're going to see what overnight brings. That's really going to depend. I think if we end up around this trend line and open, then I'll be looking kind of biased short, but we will see. All right, check back in tomorrow.